What's up, you guys? Welcome back to this channel, or welcome to this channel. I wanted to make this video. We've been asked, maybe the last year and a half, maybe we've been asked a dozen times on, how exactly you price things when you start your own business. And that will vary between business to business. So, my particular business is a grocery store, and it will still vary between location to location. But I wanted to give you my personal example. I try to keep things as transparent as possible on this channel to give you some inside scoop on starting your own retail store or small business. That's what this channel is all about, and I hope to provide some value on your entrepreneurial journey. If you're interested in anything like this below, please hit the like button. It really helps support this store, and we're actually giving a free apple to anyone who hits the like button. It will be sent to you via your local courier. Alright, let's get into this video. So, during this video we will be going through section by section in the store, and I will be telling you the gross margin that we make on each product, so you have an idea on what to price your inventory at and how I price my inventory. Now, mind you, this is gross margin, so you get the amount of profit that I make from each item. You really want to start looking at how much you make per case, because that's when you start actually making, serious money, when you start selling per cases. For example, if I sell a dozen eggs, I make $1. I'd rather be looking at the full case of 15 dozen, you make $15. So you keep that in mind as well. So if you are new here, welcome. I want to tell you that we are proud owners of this store for the last 4 years. We started it without knowing too much about business. It is our first business, and we learned the hard way with a lot of different mistakes, particularly in pricing. I will give you the very first mistakes we made. Some things were priced way too low, some things were priced way too high, and we have slowly corrected each and every one of those mistakes. And of course, there's other things that we still need to correct along the way. Don't beat yourself up about small mistakes. You're going to make them every single day. This is the end of the day today, and I probably made another 30. But we move forward, we move on, we learn from them, and I try to tell you the ones I make so you can avoid them in your own journey. So to give you the short answer of how I price my inventory in this store, basically every item varies a little bit between pricing. There is certain things that follow a general margin that we like to keep, and there's other things that you barely make any money off of, and there will be other things that you make quite a bit of money off of. It really depends what items you're carrying and what kind of store you are, truthfully, and your location. So it will vary, but I will tell you this: you're looking at between a 30 and 40% gross margin. And the gross profit margin is basically the amount we sell an item for minus the amount that we paid for it, and that's our total profit at the end of it. So let's say we pay a jar of sauce $3, and I sell that jar of sauce for $5. The remaining profit is $2. That's around a 30 to 40% profit margin, and you're going to find many grocery kind of staples you run at about 30 to 40%, and that is for a small business like ours. Now, the big box stores such as your Walmarts, Kroger's, those people run at much more slim margins because their business is based on volume. We will sell maybe 10 jars of sauce a day while they will sell maybe 1,000. So their margins may be 5-10% or 1% on certain things, or certain things they give out almost losing money just to get people in the door, and that's a whole nother topic that really works well for those kind of stores. This store operates on average around 30 to 40%. And guys, to be honest with you, day in and day out, you're gonna hear the same things. People complaining about the prices because you can't sell a head of cabbage at 99 cents. You have to sell it at $1.49 because Walmart sells it for 89 cents, and nobody's happy unless they can find, a cheap deal or cheaper than Walmart. It's just the nature of the business, okay? We're not selling thousands of cabbage. Again, we're selling 10 cabbage. We buy them for almost the same price as they sell them for. So, at the end of the day, you cannot compete on price. Just forget about that anytime you open a small business. If you're opening up a small fast food restaurant, don't think you're going to be able to compete with McDonald's. Don't think you're going to be able to compete with these chains that have been around for years on years and just move volumes of product and just have, you know, they have tons of money to even lose for a little while you're struggling to put food on your table. So just keep that in mind. You're never going to race to the bottom with the big box stores. You're going to go to zero quick if you ever try that. Keep the prices fair for everybody, and where you make some money, the customer's satisfied, and keep things going. That's basically all you can do. Which does bring me into my next point. Things like produce, we do mark up 50, 60, 70% because of the waste that comes with it. If we didn't do this, we probably wouldn't make as much as we do on produce. It can be very, very good profit margins on produce. We're talking close to 100% on certain things like potatoes, onions, sweet potatoes, because the waste is there and they're cheap products and you can sell them for a good amount. And things like those root vegetables, like, they don't go bad as quick, so it's really a good money maker. That's my specific example anyways in my store. You may have to go a little cheaper or a little higher, but you know, for example, we buy potatoes for 80 cents a pound, we sell them at $1.99. So you can do the math on that. That's a pretty good profit margin right there. It is very loud in this corner. These are where all our coolers are, but to give you an example of something that doesn't make much money, we're talking maybe 15 to 20% margins, is dairy, milk, eggs, cream. Cream can be okay sometimes, but dairy in general, there's a lot of waste with it. It doesn't go, you know, as fast as you want sometimes, so you almost have to keep it low, at a low margin, just to get it out the door, because you don't want to be, you know, taking home jugs of milk or throwing them away, whatever you prefer. But yeah, that is something you won't be making too much money on. You have to keep the prices competitive because everybody wants dairy. You know, you don't want to sit on it too long and then it goes bad. If people don't see a long date, they won't pick it up. It's really complex. Just the margins are low on dairy. Keep that in mind. Another big section in this store is ready-made meals. We do a lot of our food right back here. Things like salads, cut up fruit, macaroni and cheese, you name it, we can make it. There's certain things we tried that didn't sell at all, so we don't make them anymore. But ready-made food has a great profit margin, again, because there is a lot of waste if you don't control it right and manage your inventory and sell it fast enough. So the margins around that section of ready-made foods, again, convenience, always a higher price, so you can get away with about 50 to 60% on ready-made foods if you're pricing things correctly on the ingredients section. If you don't know exactly how much everything costs in a small Mediterranean orzo salad, you really need to backpedal and get down ingredient by ingredient how much it costs and then how much you can price this for. So just keep that in mind, and then, you know, you can start factoring in labor, how much it costs per hour to have someone make them. Me and Felicia keep things lean around here, so that is not, you know, we do consider our labor, but you know, that is not something that we're paying out to anybody else except ourselves. So that's considered as well. So just make sure you can price things correctly and you know exactly how much everything costs that you're preparing and selling, even down to the containers and the lids, because these cost money as well and they add up quick. So that's another good section in a store that you should consider having. And people just love being able to pick up food on their way home. They don't want to make anything. Everyone's so busy now, so things that are quick, easy, healthy, taste good, they should be a pretty good seller in your store. So there's specialty items that sometimes have a little bit more margin than regular grocery, like our keto and vegan section. We can sometimes, you know, get to 45% margins on these, and you know, everybody's generally happy because it's hard to find items, no one really has them, and we kind of generally do good with them. It's kind of a specialty store. Okay, another big section of our store is bakery. All of our desserts, cream pies, fruit pies, tarts, turnovers do very, very well. Everyone has a sweet tooth. If you're gonna have a store, please consider things like butter tarts, macaroons, pies. The margins are great. People will buy them. They don't go bad very quick if you keep them properly stored. A lot of bakeries just keep things frozen and take them out as they need it. There's very, very few bakeries out there that make things from scratch. They buy them frozen, they take them out, and they say they made them. I don't do that. This is not a bakery, this is a grocery store. Wherever the product comes from, we usually tell people where it's from. I don't, pretend we bake in the back. We do make some things, we do bake some things, and those things have our name on them. I really don't find it fair to take things out of a frozen box and then say made in store. That is what a lot of places do. Don't quote me on that. That's just my own industry secret. Everybody should know that by now. Anyways, profit margins on things like pies, tarts, bakery items, I usually do around 50%. We do very good with that. I'll give you an example here. A butter tart, again, will cost me $1. I sell it for $1.99. Everybody's happy with that. I think that's pretty fair. We're in Canada, Canadian dollars. So that's generally a good profit margin section. We really expanded that section as we grew the store. Quite a bit actually. I would say 20% of our total sales just come from bakery items. So that's really good. And people just, there's always a party, there's always a birthday, there's always an occasion. Things like gelato, ice cream, they just do very well. And even in the winter, everybody wants a warm pie and a coffee, which we do sell coffee. Let's get into that. We do, not too many coffees in the store. People really don't, come here to sit down and have a coffee. It's mainly takeaway, grocery type of style. So we will do a good number of coffees on a good day, but it's a great margins on coffee. You make a cup of coffee after the lid and the cup and the beans and the milk probably cost me 80 cents with everything, like milk, beans, everything. And then we sell a cappuccino for like $3.50. Good margins, good gross profit margin, keep that in mind. And it's about convenience. Yeah, you can make a good cup of coffee at home for even cheaper probably than 80 cents. But people like their convenience and like walking around with a to-go cup when they have other things to do or shop in the plaza, and that's why we added it. Good margins, these are gross profit margins again, so there's obviously a lot of other things to pay for, but yeah, at the end of the day, it didn't hurt for us to keep this here. And we get free coffee through the store for me and Felicia. So yeah, this is a machine that we use every day for ourselves and for certain regulars and other people that just want to try the coffee. So yeah, something to really consider if you have a retail store. Coffee's a good margin. Everybody drinks coffee. It's like one of the biggest commodities in the world right now. So yeah, add coffee, good margins. So things like our snack section here, grocery, like pastas, chips, things like that, they follow the same margins, 30 to 40%. You can't really go much higher than that because people won't buy it as often, and if you go lower, you're giving things away for a little too cheap. And then if you have things that expire, it really takes your margin even lower. So you really got to be in that 30 to 40% margin, I would say, for things like crackers, cookies, chips, any kind of snack. That's usually where we keep our margins at. Other thing is, gross profit margin is, the amount you make from each item, but there's also operating costs that you have to consider. Your rent, your salary, the waste that comes from each item. Not everything sells all the time. Keeping the hydro going, keeping the lights on, every other cost that comes with it is also, your net margin. This video is all about the gross margin, so keep that in mind as well. There's a lot of other costs that come with operating a business and being able to sell these products that, you know, will cut into the margins at the end of the month a lot more than we'd like, but they do. Alright guys, I hope you had a insightful time with us and our pricing. You can kind of figure out, you know, if you do sell $1 million worth of stuff, how much is left over, between 30 and 40% of that. So that would be your gross profit margin. Then you start minusing everything else, right? That's what I'm really trying to kind of iterate in this video, is just because something is a profit of $2, don't think that it's, you know, true profit. There's a lot of other expenses that can be incorporated into that profit. So keep that in mind in your journey. I wish you guys all the best. Have a good night.